morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, I am here. You know how I am sometimes. Sometimes it's easier for me to go live than it is for me to sit and record something, go through it, edit it, and everything like this. So we gonna be off the cuff today. All right. So we are reviewing the Acolyte Episode 3. And let me get the name of this episode, because I've heard a lot of ruckus about this episode on online. I've seen people about to lose their salt about this episode, so I am always curious as to why. So let's get the name of this episode. And y'all, while you're waiting, please hit that like button. And if you like, please subscribe. And once you subscribe, you'll be open to a plethora of movies and television shows that I have reviewed. All right, so this episode was entitled Destiny. Um, and it says here, according to IMDb, on a mysterious planet, the tragic journeys of the two sisters begin. Okay, so this is a flashback episode. So this is from when I looked in, uh, because I watched the episode twice. And then it came to me that this episode, if you're looking for a lot of action, if you're looking um, for a lot of extra information, I don't think this is the episode that we're going to watch to get that. The episode visually was pleasing to me. I did like the color palette. It was muted. Um, it was kind of even though it was a lot of women there, it did seem like the where they were at with the stone and the gray and the like where they had this where they had their machinery and stuff. It gave me even though it was a lot of women, that I didn't see many female touches aesthetically. It seemed like it was just, it seems like what a man would think a woman would want to see. It didn't give me any of that female touches. All right. It was pretty much an all female cast, but it didn't give me that female, but the colors were pretty. The I will tell you too. Now, these are just my overall thoughts before I get into it. The writing was dull. I didn't see a lot of things. And one of the things that I would say, and like I said, I'm not that person that will be talking about children, but y'all had these two young girls, beautiful young girls out here, uh, and they were pretty much the center of this show. You all didn't give them, to me, what was an appropriate dialogue. You did not, I could not understand why these two girls were acting the way that they were acting. And then I couldn't understand how they had the information that they had if they have lived in this cult. Now, I'm not going to even call it a cult. If they lived on this world all their lives and they had no outside, they haven't lived anywhere else. I could not understand how OSHA understood and knew about the Jedi. I can understand her wanting to be beyond the place where she was, but I didn't understand how she knew about the Jedi. I didn't understand how she was just so gung ho about being a Jedi. I didn't understand that. That didn't make any sense to me. Um, their relationship, Osha and May, uh, and I'm just again, I'm just we're talking about the script, but their relationship and how they interacted with each other didn't make much sense to me. um I do understand with twins, you have this situation where the your parents or the people around you always want to connect you and connect your personality. And I do understand, and I feel Osha in that everything that she did, May had to be included. May didn't seem to have a problem with it, but Osha had a problem with it, and I can understand that dynamic. I understood that. I just didn't understand how it had escalated to a point where uh, May would threaten to kill her sister. That didn't make any sense to me. Now, I will say, I do understand that we are watching this from the point of view of Osha. So how she sees it is what is how she sees it. I'm hoping that I don't know why they just didn't do if they were going to do flashbacks and you had these two young girls who from what I understand are sisters. I don't know if they're twins, but I do understand that they're sisters, so they look like they're fraternal twins. They don't look exactly alike, but I did appreciate that they didn't look exactly alike, only because that way we can kind of distinguish which one was May and which one was Osha. But I would have liked, I don't want to say this. I wish the flashback, if you were going to have this flashback episode, I really wish we would have seen it from at least two points of view. I wish we would have seen it from May's point of view, and I wish we would have seen it from Osha's point of view. And I would have loved to have seen it from uh, the Jedis that were their point of view, particularly the one that pruned his own self from the timeline with the. I would have loved to seen more different perspectives within the flashback. I think I would have appreciated it more. I do not know if they're going to do any more flashback episodes, but if they decide to do more flashback episodes, I really, really want them to do these episodes, combine them, because just one whole episode of a flashback episode, it only the only piece of information that came out of this particular episode that was like, ooh, was the fact when Osha's mothers were speaking, and one who looks like a Zabrak, or she just reminded me of Darth Maul in them. She made the mention about, I carried them, and then Jodie Turner's character was like, well, I created them. So that was the only thing I was like, ooh, are we getting into the dyads? Are we getting into, you remember Palpatine had talked about create manipulating the midichlorians to be able to create life. Were we getting into that? Was this something that they were talking about, or would the actions or whatever is going to happen with these two twins, is this going to be something to where the Jedi is like, oh, okay, uh we don't need to talk about that, uh dyads in the force and the prophecy of the one that's going to, but is this where we're going to get all of this information from? Is this show going to give us some of that information? I do understand that they said that this was just going to be establishing some stuff separate from the Skywalker saga, but I was just interested in that part. That was the only thing that made me go, ooh. Um, I really didn't care about the fact that this coven called the Force a thread, because we've heard that before. If you all watch the Ahsoka show, the three sisters talked about life being in a thread and all this other stuff. So that didn't bother me. That just made me think that this particular coven was possibly an offshoot of that type of thing, because I did see the look like the Zabrak lady that was there. So that didn't bother me or anything like that. Um, what I could not understand, as this coven, and as they were so very secretive, and they were wherever they were at, they were really, really too kind to the Jedis as far as coming in, and literally the Jedis just broke in and stood up and straight up lied, talking about, oh, we didn't think that this planet was inhabited. uh that's akin to somebody living in their house and you just break down their door talking about, oh, it was a house. I didn't think anybody lived here. And what gave you that impression? Just because you didn't think didn't mean that people didn't live there. um, hey Barbara, I see you. Let me see. It was very precise. I just, I wasn't going to really do this to next week because I was like, maybe 3 and 4 combined would be better. But I just thought I'd get it out of the way. And so, that was all right. Jodie Turner Smith is amazing and would make an excellent Storm. Yeah. She, she's my number one for Storm. She is my number one. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's why I couldn't understand why why there wasn't anybody up front to be like guarding the place to let them just walk on in the house. And again, like when it first came on, you saw Osha outside up under the bunta tree, and which really makes it seem like the bunta tree was not, I don't know. It didn't seem like it because it was so different from all the other trees and stuff like that. It almost seemed like it was a tree that was my first thought that this tree came from another world and they brought this tree with them, but this tree could have been just with the world. But Osha, I don't know. It's something about her that's strange to me. I understand May's point of view and why she wants to get rid of it, because she feels like with their presence and coming, it caused for her coven to be killed. But I just don't understand what Osha, and it could be that she doesn't remember the way it is. It could be somebody is manipulating her mind, that she can't remember things the way they are. That's why I wish there was flashbacks from other people's point of view, not necessarily the same scene, but different things, so we can kind of piece together what happened. Because again, let's just go through the story. We see Osha, and she's very trepid. She has all these trepidations about doing the ascension. May has no problem doing the ascension. They prepare for the ascension ceremony. Again, we start hearing the women in the coven talk about the force. They call it the thread. I don't really have any big deal about that because, like I said, if you think about real world situation and you look at Christianity, you have the Catholics that do things one way. You have the Protestants, and then all the different denominations in being a Protestant. Whether you're Methodist, whether you're Baptist, whether you're Pentecostal, whether you're Apostolic, whether you are Church of Christ, whatever it is, everyone has different rituals and different things, and different things that they call different things. So I don't have a big deal about that. It's not gonna. And again, I'm surely hoping that Star Wars is so much bigger than the Luke Skywalker uh, uh, saga of Star Wars. So if the Jedi's call it the Force, if the Sith call it the Force, it's the Force. If the witches call it the thread and the power, whatever, then that's what they're talking. They're talking about the same thing. It's just like Jewish people call God Yahweh, the Jehovah's Witness call him Jehovah. It's just that there's just different ways and different things. That stuff didn't bother me. I don't think it's going to upend Star Wars in that for that. I just don't think that. So they go through the ritual. Uh One of the girls, Maya, goes through the complete ritual, but Osha doesn't go through again because the Jedi come in. And the Jedi come in and they're like, "Where is her father?" Because Anisha, what's her name? Anissa. Well, anyway, Jodie Turner Smith's character. If someone would have asked me where that child father was, I'd say, "Where your daddy at?" Be worrying about where my baby daddy. But anyway, that's just Pam. I'm just interjecting my stuff. But they asked where their father was. They said that they don't have a father, and you kind of see the Jedi kind of look back and forth about, wait a minute, what's going on? Which I couldn't understand. If you're looking at a coven of witches and things like that, and they're a coven, and they just have 2 children or whatever. I mean, they could. I don't know that didn't make any sense to me. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to me how quickly they were allowing the children to go through the trial. I also didn't like, and I know that this is part of Star Wars, that the Jedi went around and they were looking for force sensitive children. But from what I understand, some of those children, just because if they did not want to go, did they still just pull them up? I mean, because I mean, that's just a question I ask. I know we look at it like some kind of benevolent thing, but the Jedi going around, because now when you think about it, and being a mother or something like that, you're just not going to let people uproot your children because your child is special without a fight. And I don't even care about those intergalactic laws or anything like that. There should be some kind of way that you don't have the just uprooting people's children. But people don't want to say that because I guess because when you're looking at it from a certain point of view, and that's how I'm going to leave that. When you look at things like that from a certain point of view, some people look at it as being benevolent. So if you're looking at, oh, well, the Jedi is going to train these children. If you're looking from that point of view, you don't see the other side like, why are these people running around here taking these people's children? Now you had an issue and problems when the Sith was looking for the children uh when what's his name, Darth Vader and all those people were looking for the children and things like that during the was it the Clone Wars? You didn't have any, you had a big problem, but you didn't have a problem with the Sith looking for the children. That Clone Wars, what is it? Was it Rebels? I think it was Rebels. It's one of them two cartoons, child. I can't remember. But I just found that to be odd. Uh Again, Osha just I can understand that she wanted to leave her village and go someplace else, but I just didn't understand how she knew about the Jedi. That just we have not seen her have any kind of flashes about the Jedi. We hadn't seen her have any type of clairvoyance or anything like that. We haven't really seen all of that. So I was just really curious about that. So then when Maya finds out that Osha passed the trials and she was going to go be with the Jedi, she got really miffed, and she locked Osha in her room, and then she took this candle. Well, she took her book first of all, and she burnt it, and then she left, and then the door just caught on fire. But in the middle of that catching on fire, when Osha looks up, there was like this boom, and you saw like the glow and everything like that. There was this boom. So I don't believe that the fire that Maya started was so big and so vast that it caused all that stuff going on upstairs. There's something else was going on at the same time, because when we go back, when Osha goes through her wall and she gets up there, and then she's on the bridge, and Maya is on the bridge, and then Maya falls in the bridge. When the Jedi, because where did the Jedi come from? The Jedi were clear across the field. So how did the Jedi get there? So he saves Osha, but he couldn't save May. But as they're running through, everybody in the coven is dead. They didn't die in the fire. How did they die? They didn't die in the fire. So that you didn't get really much answers on this episode. You were left with a lot of questions. And so I don't know how they're going to work in the next episode. And then, Osha wakes up and she's on the ship. So I am confusion. And also I'm also confused as to, you remember the Jedi Torsbin, who pruned himself from the timeline? If what happened as far as with Osha, I mean with Osha's vision and the way she sees it, there wouldn't have been no need for him to prune himself from the timeline if Maya was the one that committed the fire that killed her coven. But we don't know. So I don't want to keep too long of this, because like I said, this episode, there was no action in the episode. There wasn't any big reveal other than uh, them talking about creating the twins. There wasn't any, wasn't really be anything. I didn't think the dialogue was too bland. And I don't know, it wasn't, I'm not going to say it wasn't a very good episode. It was decent, but it wasn't like the first, or it wasn't like the second episode. So I guess maybe this was the slow episode. Now, in regards to the two women going together, and in regard to there's a coven of witches and all that other stuff, uh, you know, and I'm going to say it just like I'm going to say it, that bothers wasps. That's who that bothers. White Anglo-Saxon Protestant men. That's who bothers with that. Plus Tyrone Magnus. So that's who that stuff bothers. That doesn't bother me, because this is supposed to be a story. And so because you see two women dating each other, or being in a coven or anything like that, that's not what bothers me. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is this story was very, this writing was very bland. They didn't give those two little girls. I wish they just would have shown them interact. I wish there were other children there, and have them interact with other children and things like that that had gone through the birthing process or anything like that. It just that's kind of stuff didn't make any sense, but because you could have set those two girls up to be the special girls, or to be the girls who were going to really, and have other kids and have them bounce off other kids and all this other stuff. I just think, I don't know if that's budget wise, or if that's story wise, that was piss poor. That was boo boo. But again, if I was to give this episode a score out of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 5.5, a 6. I don't think it didn't do much for me. It was slow, and I'm just gonna be real with you. It was boring. I'm not going to the heights of saying, "Oh my God, this is the episode that ruined Star Wars." No, I'm not going. That didn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And I think a lot of critics that I've heard, their issue has to do with uh loud as I'm about to say it. Their issues have to do with there are women in Star Wars. Their issue has to do that there's gay people in Star Wars. Their issue is that there are too many people that look like me in Star Wars. And you can say that's not the truth, but baby, I remember when Obi-Wan came out and all the backlash Moses Ingram got. I remember when the sequels came out and everybody saw the black stormtrooper and they had a hissy fit. So miss me with all that. That's not it. We just want them to tell good stories. Yeah, you want them to tell stories that are wasp influenced only. All right, that's all I got to say. Tell me what y'all thought about this episode of The Acolyte. Did you find it like me? It was just a little boring. I wish I had seen more action. Heck, I wish I had seen the two girls. I mean, if anything, the way they were feeling about each other, they should have had a little bit more knockout, drag out fights or something like that. I wish I would have loved to seen the interaction between their mothers be a little bit contentious, with one mother, the Zabrak mother, wanting to keep them in clothes and protect them, versus the other mother who was very nice and free with the children. I really would have liked to seen more tension and had more dialogue about that tension. Um, Y'all, that's it. All right. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Please share this video if you care. Please tell a kin, tell a friend, tell your coworker, tell that helper that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And let's just hope that this next episode is a little bit more peppy. We have a little bit more action. I'm hoping to see who this Sith is. I'm hoping to see Maya in action along with the little young man that when they go to see Kilnaka, will they be able to kill him? Why isn't So why is he not letting Kelnaka know that these people are running around killing all the people who were there? There's already two of them gone. So why are no one trying to check on Kelnaka to see if he's all right? I just want all these little different things, because to me, you're killing too many people at the thing. They should have killed the Torben guy first and then killed what's her name? And because at least we could get some information about what's really, really going on. But I believe Saul knows what's going on all the way in. All right, people. And as always, bye bye.